What's up, guys? NorbCam here, coming at you on a rainy Saturday night here in the Seattle, Washington area. Night before the big game tomorrow between the Seahawks and the Packers, and just wanted to get a few thoughts about this game. It seems like we're favored for the most part by what I'm seeing in terms of the line and all that, but I'm a little concerned about this game for a number of reasons. The first one being is that I already picked this game to be a loss in my prediction video before the season ever started, and I have not deviated from my picks all this time, and I've been off, but there's a reason why I was not picking favorably for the Seattle in this game against the Packers. First and foremost, we have not won in Lambeau in a long time. I had to look back, and it goes back to the 90s since we beat the Packers in Lambeau Field. That's a long time. Now, granted, history and all that stuff doesn't mean anything to the players who've never played there before, but it's hard to deny the fact that Lambeau Field is a tough place to play in December. So that one rears its ugly head high. Of course, we got the loss of Earl Thomas that we still got to deal with, and I've yet to see what is the long-term, or I should say at least remaining season impact for the Seahawks not having him back there. I don't think anybody can really say, because we've never been without him for more than one game. So jury's not in yet as far as what the what's the impact on the team really going to be. Those are the two main things that kind of stand out. And then really the other one is just that Seattle has not been great on the road this year. Obviously we've been undefeated at home, so clearly all of our losses and ties, of which there are 4 of them, 3 losses and a tie, have all taken place on the road. So all these things sort of point towards not good news for Seattle tomorrow. However, on the positive side, outside of Earl Thomas, we are relatively about as healthy as we've been. We've gotten Luke Wilson's coming back. Our defense outside of Earl is intact. Pretty much everybody's in there as far as the original starting crew. And offensively, most of those guys are pretty solid as well. So, and we picked up, Tukuafu's out, so we got the new fullback that we picked up from the Raiders. So it'll be interesting to see how we utilize him. He's actually more flexible than Tukuafu was, because Tukuafu, I think, handled the ball twice this year altogether. This guy, he's this fullback we got from the Raiders. He's a very much more versatile guy. Pro Bowl caliber. I think a guy who can be effective on third down, catching the ball. He used to be a receiver. So he actually may add a pro-size type dimension to the offense. And I really think he's there to sort of be a pro-size substitute until he comes back, kind of like CJ Spiller was when pro-size was out at the beginning of the year. That's kind of what I see him being, and being that he can be a fullback as well, help lead the way when Rawls and what's his name, Troymaine Pope are back there, who will be our primary running backs. Tailback. And so, of course, Russell Wilson getting healthier, Rawls getting healthier. The performance last week, we will have to see tomorrow if this was, just a spectacular one-time type performance versus the Panthers. But I'd like to think that they'll be able to bring it from this point on a relatively consistent basis. Obviously not that level. 500 yards plus is tough to get. That's pretty crazy. But at least to where we can sustain drives and get a lot of conversions third down to extend drives and so forth. In all reality, I'm saying all this because if you look at my prediction picks I've done this year, every time I picked the Seahawks to lose, we either won or tied. And I'm counting on that to be the case this time. I picked us to lose against the Cardinals. We beat them. I picked them to lose against the Patriots. I picked them to lose against the Cardinals. We tied. I picked them to lose against the Patriots, and we won. And I picked them to lose against the Packers, and that is yet to be determined tomorrow. So all of my lost picks never turned into such. So I'm going to stick with it in the hopes that that trend continues. That is my reverse psychology, stick with the game plan hope for tomorrow. But keys to the game, I'm just totally winging it here, but 5 keys to the game. First one is, I'd say just not let the weather be a factor, and meaning that they got to be careful with the ball. You know, they've got to not cough it up. They've got to keep possession. Don't make dumb mistakes. Don't fumble the ball. Don't throw bad choices on passes that can be intercepted. Protect the ball very carefully in this weather. Number 2, so many of these things are kind of the same every week. Almost sounds like a broken record, but we've got to get the running game going. I mean, if the snow is going to be an issue, you know, I think we want to be able to run the ball because that's the one thing you can always count on in December and into the playoffs is we have your running game. So Thomas Rawls has got to deliver on the running game, and Wilson for that matter. Number 3, we've got to convert third downs because good things always happen when you can convert on third down. You get time on your side. You keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. You get you win the field position battle, and then you get into the red zone, and hopefully, which leads to number 4, we score touchdowns in the red zone. That's the one thing that we still have not completely overcome, because last week against the Panthers we left points on the board because we still couldn't get touchdowns every time in the red zone. Not you're going to get them every time, but you want to be doing 50% or better. You're doing great on offense if you can be doing 50% or better on third downs and in the red zone. So what is that, number 4? And what's number 5? Number 5, we've got to keep Mr. Rodgers down in his neighborhood. Aaron Rodgers is the number 1 factor in this game because their defense is beat up. I feel like we should have some success against their defense, but Rodgers has been hot lately, and it's going to be important to not let him have his way against us. That means Steve Terrell and Earl Thomas's place has got to he's got to minimize the exposure. He's got to show to everybody, not just for this game, but in games to follow, that him in place of Earl Thomas has not suddenly created this vulnerability. He's got to show that he is qualified to be part of the LOB, the Legion of Boom. He's got to be part of the solution. He won't ever be an Earl Thomas replacement, but we've got to show that we're not suddenly a whole different defense, a whole different team without him. So he's got to just hold his own. He's got to compete and hold his ground and be effective as free safety in there. And tomorrow's will be the first test of that with Aaron Rodgers. So that's it, baby. I think that's all I can think of right now, but I think those are the keys to getting a win tomorrow. So, what more to say? We got to keep our pace here, stay ahead of Detroit now is the team that's riding behind our back, fighting to get our number 2 spot. Chasing Dallas, but more importantly, we're chasing ourselves as we control our own destiny to maintain a hold of the 2nd seed in the NFC, which means, of course, if we do so, we get a first round bye and at least one home game, a divisional round game in our house. And who knows? If Dallas should stumble along the way, that means the NFC Championship, should we do well through the rest of the way, would fall to us. So we can only control what we control, and that is our own destiny, and that's to hold on to the number 2 seed in the NFC. And it starts again tomorrow, one game at a time. Let's get her done. So, let's go Hawks, get a win, 1-0 every week. Thanks for watching, you guys. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Let's get it done. Go Hawks.